Is it going? Mm-hmm. Okay. This right here, the back side of this. Let me see the camera. Sorry about this. Okay, the back side of this camera is shown. Here you go. You can see I can't even get that line on the socket to go into this port. It does not enter at all. That's stock, factory. This is just a hair smaller. This 15/16 is a hair smaller than the seat. If I go over here and try the same thing, you can see that I can literally go in and I can actually submerge the numbers above the line. So basically, one, I can't even enter it. And on the other one that's been ported, I can go above the 15/16. So about almost a ½ inch inside this port, I have removed. And what I'm actually doing is opening up the bolt to basically match the seat. But the thing is, there's a little bit of a trick to it. Is you never want to go behind the seat. You don't want to create, you always want to make a slight funnel or a slight tulip shape to it. And then I just dull the edge of this, as you can see, and that's all I do in the bowl area. This back lip here on the exhaust side of the port, you don't want to take off a whole lot there. I just removed the ring that I yellowed here. You can see what needs to be removed. I yellowed it. I remove that, but I don't go too thin on this wall here. I like to keep a lot of material underneath that seat right here for the seat support. Okay, but if you look, that looks pretty clean inside there and opened up compared to what it was from the factory. Okay. On the intake side, I'm going to spend just a short minute here. All I basically do here is I don't even do as much. I just remove the sharpness of that ring all the way around. And a lot of people get caught up on removing some material off of that valve guide. You can try it if you want. On a street car, I like to leave all that there. I feel more comfortable with it like that. I just kind of go down about 3/4 of an inch inside the bowl area and blend it and smooth it out to try to increase a little bit. I think on these 318 heads, these are smog heads, the worst flowing head you about find on a small block Chrysler, and it's the exhaust that suffers the most. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I use the screwdriver for. Okay, when it comes to exhaust, there's nothing better than straight through design. Okay, and this is my example of straight through design. I'm going to take this screwdriver here, okay, and I'm going to try to put it through this head, this one that has not been touched. And you can see that I can't even get it inside the port. I'm right now, oh, there it is, okay. There we go. That's as far as that screwdriver will go. I'm trying, I can't get it out. No matter which way I try, it's stuck. I cannot get that through there. This is straight through design. Now watch this, okay, without any trying at all. When I go to put this through there, it comes right out. See that? Straight through design. Okay? See how easy that is? This one here is not happening. Okay? So you're looking on the exhaust for a straight through exit, and I did do a little bit of work on the back side of the exhaust. I'll explain to you in a minute. Before I do that, I want to take my socket, 15/16 and the screwdriver, and I do have what the 340 head has on it. I got a head down here. It's actually off a 360, but it's the same one. You come down here, and I'll show you. Watch this. This goes inside there, and even though it goes just a hair further than the 318, I don't care how big that valve is, if the hole underneath the seat is reduced, that is where your flow is, not your valve. Okay, I don't care about the 160 valve. Right now, in the bowl area, that 150 valve on that 318 head I did will outflow that 160 340 head in the bowl area. The port size is going to be bigger on this head, and it's going to flow more, but the very first part of restriction starts when the valve opens and it goes to go out. This head will not, at the start of it and in the bowl area, will not flow what that 318 head does. I'll show you one more thing. Even though it's got a much bigger port, I'm going to show you the restriction when I try to put this through. This, I cannot get that to go through. Okay? And I'm not even to the bowl area yet, but there are spots that I removed on the port side, and that will not go through. The straight through design right now, even though this has a bigger valve and a bigger port and a bigger exit in the back, it will not go through, okay? This is one of the areas right now on a stock 73-340 that even though I got a smaller port size and a smaller valve, I'm going to flow more efficiently with my 150 valve and smaller port than this head will with its 160 valve. And some of you might disagree with me. I don't care. I'm sticking to my story. Okay? Come back up here. Now, last thing I'm going to do is give you an example on this head right here. I'm just going to start on how you would set this up. I'm not going to port the whole thing. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. Well, before I do that, let me just show you the back side here, what I want to remove of this port. Okay, I focus more on the roof of this, the ceiling, than I do the floor. But right here, you'll see there's a lump right here where I am. I can't remove all of that. I just dull it. I take it down. And then on the floor where this stupid emissions port is, there's a real sharp thing right there. I can't get rid of all of it, but I really dull it down. And I'll show you the back side of this port real quick before I get started on how I do this. Okay. Can you see in that one? I'll just leave this one here now. Okay, if you can see in there, I dulled this roof, and this lump here is really taken down. Not removed, it's taken down. I'm not quite finished with this. I don't know how big I'm going to go on this opening here, but focus more on the upper half of this port instead of the bottom half, okay? And I've already opened this up just a hair all the way around here, but don't try to gasket match that, okay? The last thing, the last thing I wanted to show you on the intake side, this right here is called gasket matching. I put an intake on top of there. I gasket matched to a 318. Do not gasket match to a 360. A 360 will swallow this port up and you'll just grind away, and if you're not careful, you'll destroy your head. I gasket match, and I don't try to gasket match this. I may just skim there with a straight file just to take the rough edges off, but I don't make this smaller. I focus on the width and again the ceiling. I gasket match that. When you gasket match this, you'll be very, very close to a stock port cast iron 360 intake that I'm using, or 340 intake. Okay? Now, the last minute here, I'm just going to show you how I set it up and how I start the porting. So you'll see how easy it is. Take your vacuum cleaner. They don't fit in the port, so I take a pair of pliers. I squeeze it together, and there, it's in the port. Okay? That's that. And then, it's going to get noisy here in just a minute. I got my new stone in there. Okay? When I turn the vacuum on, it's going to suck everything out the back port. Years ago, when I was a lot younger, I didn't use the vacuum, and I got it in my eye, and it was bad. So, basically, this is what it's going to do. Okay, that's just the start of it. You can see I did not get too close to the seat as of yet, But eventually you'll sit down and start flat over here so you're not toward the seat. And then as you go, you'll slowly work your way toward the seat. And I didn't take all the ring out there. I mean, that's just 1 minute, and I already dulled it a lot. But, you know, it takes about, on the exhaust side, you're going to spend at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the bowl area. Probably 20 minutes in the bowl and probably 10 minutes out back. 30 minutes in exhaust port and probably 15 to 20 per intake, probably 20 on the intake, on the bowl and the port size, and you know, 10 here and 7 or 8 here, and probably 15, probably 20 minutes in the bowl area here, and another 10 or 12 out the back port. But that's really how it's done. You don't want to hit the seat, so start removing the ring away from the seat, and you'll get more comfortable with it, and then you slowly start to blend toward it. I don't clean the head up first. That way you got a real good picture of where your Dremel went and where it didn't, because it's shiny. Okay, and then you'll end up getting, you know, and as you get better, you'll work your way toward the seat without touching the seat. And you're better out to leave a hair of black between the seat and where you're porting than to try to get right up to the seat and nick it. Okay, but I've already removed a big edge here. That was really sharp. I had already removed just in that short time, and I just got started, removed a lot of this sharp edge. And okay, but you just got to keep working on it, and that's kind of how it's done. Okay, all right. Post later.